Since the beginning of time, humans have lifted their eyes toward the stars, the mountains, the storms, and the mysteries of their own minds, searching for answers. Not scientific answers, not mathematical formulas, but something older, something deeper. Where do we come from? Why do we suffer? What guides a good life, and what waits for us beyond the edge of death? Every corner of the world created its own response. Some imagined a universe filled with gods and goddesses. Some imagined a single divine creator. Some looked inward toward the mind, the soul, or the rhythm of nature. Some found meaning in community ritual or meditation. Others found meaning in silence, simplicity, or reason. These became the world's religions, not just systems of belief, but stories humanity tells itself to understand existence. Not competing answers, not enemies, not a scoreboard of who is right, but different attempts to understand the same mysteries that every human faces. Today, we're going to look at the major world religions the simplest way possible, as if you're learning about each one for the very first time. No debates, no arguments, no judgments. Just a clear, honest guide to how billions of people see the world. For as long as humans have existed, we've been searching. Searching for meaning. Searching for comfort. Searching for the invisible threads that tie our lives together. We've looked to the sky, to the earth, and to our own hearts, asking the same questions over and over again. Why are we here? What happens when we die? How should we live? Across continents, tribes, ancient cities, and modern nations, humans created different answers to these questions. And these answers became religions. Not just belief systems, but cultures, languages of meaning, ways of living, and ways of understanding the universe. Today, we're going to explore the world's major religions in a simple, clear, and respectful way. Not to decide which one is right. Not to compare them like items in a catalog. But to understand how billions of people make sense of their world. This is the Plain Guide. The simplest possible introduction to the beliefs that shape human civilization. Let's begin with the oldest tradition still widely practiced today. Hinduism. The oldest living religion. Hinduism is not one story, it's thousands of stories woven together. It has no single founder, no single holy book, and no single set of beliefs. Instead, it is a vast, evolving tapestry that began in ancient India and continues to adapt today. At its heart is the idea of Brahman, the ultimate reality behind everything. And within each person is Atman, the inner self, the spark of that larger reality. Life in Hindu thought is a journey of learning, experiencing, and refining the soul. Your actions shape your path. This is karma, the law of cause and effect. And through many lifetimes, the soul moves through samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The goal is moksha liberation from the cycle union with the divine and freedom from suffering. Hinduism embraces a kaleidoscope of traditions. Some worship Vishnu, the preserver. Some worship Shiva, the transformer. Others worship Devi, the mother goddess. In Hinduism, diversity is not a conflict, it is part of the design. Buddhism. The path of insight. Around 2,500 years ago in northern India, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama left his palace to search for truth. He saw suffering everywhere, sickness, aging, death, and he wanted to understand why humans suffer and how suffering ends. After years of meditation, he found an answer. He became the Buddha, the awakened one. Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from attachment and craving. We cling to things we cannot keep. We fear things we cannot control. And this fear creates misery. The Buddha offered a solution. The Eightfold Path, right speech, right action, right mindfulness, right effort, and other practices that lead to clarity and inner peace. Buddhism is not centered on gods. It is centered on awakening, seeing reality clearly. Over time, Buddhism grew into two major branches. Theravada, the old school, focuses on personal enlightenment through discipline. Mahayana, the great vehicle, emphasizes compassion and helping others awaken. But at its core, Buddhism is about understanding the mind and freeing oneself from suffering. Judaism, the root of monotheism. Judaism is one of the oldest monotheistic religions, the belief in a single, all-powerful God. It began more than 3,000 years ago with the people of ancient Israel. In Judaism, the relationship between God and humans is described through the idea of covenant, a sacred agreement. The teachings of this covenant are preserved in the Torah, the foundational text of Jewish tradition. Judaism is deeply woven into daily life through laws, rituals, and traditions known as halakha. It emphasizes justice, community remembrance, and ethical responsibility. Judaism also forms the foundation for both Christianity and Islam, making it one of the most influential belief systems in history. Christianity, the message of Jesus. Christianity grew out of Judaism, centered on the life and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. Christians believe Jesus is the Son of God, the Messiah, and that through his life, death, and resurrection, humanity is offered salvation. Christianity teaches love, forgiveness, humility, and compassion principles, found throughout the Bible, made up of the Old and New Testaments. Over time, Christianity grew into three major branches: Catholicism with its global church structure, Orthodox Christianity rooted in early traditions, and Protestantism, which began as a reform movement. Christianity is now the world's largest religion, practiced on nearly every continent in thousands of cultures, each adding its own voice to the story. Islam, submission, and unity. Islam began in the 7th century when the Prophet Muhammad received revelations that became the Quran, the final message of God known as Allah. The heart of Islam is Tawheed, the absolute oneness of God. Muslims live by the 5 pillars, declaring faith, daily prayer, charity, fasting during Ramadan, and pilgrimage to Mecca. Islam emphasizes discipline, community, and spiritual equality. Today, Islam has 2 major branches, Sunni and Shia, each with its own history and traditions. It is one of the fastest growing religions, shaping cultures from West Africa to Indonesia. Sikhism, the path of equality. Sikhism emerged in the 15th century in the Punjab region under Guru Nanak. It teaches devotion to one God meditation service and the equality of all humans. Sikhs reject caste systems and emphasize community service, generosity, and courage. The Khalsa tradition symbolizes commitment to justice, identity, and compassion. Taoism, harmony with the way. In ancient China, Taoism began with the teachings attributed to Laozi, the author of the Tao Te Ching. Taoism centers on the Tao, the way, the natural flow of the universe. Its principles are simple yet profound: act with minimal force, live in harmony with nature, embrace stillness, and recognize the duality of all things, the balance of yin and yang. More than a religion, Taoism is a philosophy, a worldview, and a way of living gently in a complex world. Shinto, the spirit of Japan. Shinto is the indigenous belief system of Japan. It centers on kami spirits found in nature, mountains, rivers, ancestors, and sacred places. Shinto emphasizes harmony, purity, community festivals, and respect for nature. Rather than scriptures, it lives through rituals and traditions that connect people to the land they inhabit. Indigenous and traditional religions around the world, countless indigenous belief systems exist older than written history. In Africa, the Americas, Australia, Oceania, and the Arctic, many traditions center on ancestors, spirits, nature, and community. These religions are not always written down. They are sung, danced, told as stories lived through rituals. They remind us that spirituality is as diverse as humanity itself. Modern secular and philosophical paths. Today, many people explore meaning outside traditional religion. Some follow humanism, focusing on compassion, ethics, and reason. Others embrace atheism or agnosticism, acknowledging uncertainty. Some explore philosophy, mindfulness, or simply personal reflection. In the modern world, meaning has become a personal journey, shaped not only by tradition, but by individual choice. The final insight. What religion reveals about us? When you step back, something remarkable becomes clear. Across all continents, across thousands of years, across languages, cultures, tragedies, and triumphs, all religions in their own ways answer the same set of questions. Who are we? Why are we here? What should we value? How do we face suffering? What happens after death? Each religion is like a different lens through which humans look at the universe. None of them capture the whole picture. But together, they reveal something universal, that humans are meaning-making creatures searching for connection, purpose, and hope. Whether you follow a religion, several, or none at all, understanding them helps us understand each other. Because at the deepest level, every belief, ancient or modern, is part of the same human story. The story of trying to live a good life, trying to make sense of mystery, trying to find our place in a vast and beautiful universe. When you look at the world's religions side by side, something surprising happens. Instead of seeing how different they are, you start noticing how similar their questions are. What is good? What is sacred? How should we treat each other? What do we owe the world, and what does the world owe us? Each religion offers its own vocabulary: karma, salvation, Torah, Quran, Tao Kami ancestors' meditation. But beneath the words lies the same human longing for meaning, a longing to belong, to understand life's beauty and its suffering, to face the unknown with courage instead of fear. Religions shape civilizations, cultures, ethics, art, and identity. But they also shape individuals, giving people comfort in grief, strength in crisis, purpose in routine, and community in moments of isolation. And whether you follow a religion or none at all, learning about them is not just learning about belief, it's learning about humanity, about the questions every generation inherits and the answers every generation reshapes. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep exploring the stories that help us understand who we are in this vast and mysterious world.